What if the very woman who taught us to listen to the whispers of the forest has just fallen silent forever? That haunting thought has shaken the entire world. Dr. Jane Goodall, the woman who dedicated her entire life to protecting animals, preserving forests, and inspiring generations, has passed away at the age of 91. The news broke on October 1st, 2025, when it was confirmed that she died of natural causes while on a speaking tour in California. Even in her final days, she was not resting, not slowing down, but still out in the world doing what she always did best, speaking, teaching, and inspiring. And now, the voice that once spoke so gently, so powerfully, on behalf of the voiceless has been silenced forever. The world reacted in shock. Millions of people who grew up reading about her, hearing her talks, or watching her interviews, felt as if they had lost a personal guide. But among the most heart-wrenching tributes came from one man who had known her not only as a global icon, but as a dear friend, Leonardo DiCaprio. The actor and environmental activist poured out his grief in words that touched the hearts of people everywhere. In his tribute, he called her a hero for the planet, an inspiration to millions, and a dear friend. And then he revealed the last words he had ever said to her. They were simple, yet profound. He told her, "You are my hero." And in his message to the world, he added something even more powerful. Now, we all must carry the torch for her in protecting our one shared home. Those words cut straight to the core, because Jane Goodall was not just a scientist. She was not just a public speaker. She was a living, breathing symbol of hope. Her passing is not just a sad news story. It is a global loss. A loss of wisdom, of guidance, of someone who reminded us what it meant to care. To understand why this moment is so painful, we have to look back at the extraordinary life of the woman Leonardo DiCaprio and millions of others called a hero. Jane Goodall's story begins in London in April 1934. As a little girl, she wasn't fascinated by dolls or toys. She was fascinated by animals, by nature, by the idea of Africa. At a time when young girls were expected to follow ordinary paths, she dreamed of the jungle. She wanted to live among animals, study them, understand them. And while many people dismissed her ambitions as childish fantasies, she never let go. That stubborn curiosity, that refusal to give up on her dream, would one day change the way the entire world thinks about animals. At the age of 23, with little money and no degree in science, Jane traveled to East Africa. There she met Louis Leakey, a paleoanthropologist who recognized her passion and determination. Leakey gave her the opportunity to study chimpanzees in Tanzania's Gombe Stream Reserve. What happened next was history. Jane Goodall entered the forest with patience and empathy. She did not just watch the chimpanzees from afar. She immersed herself in their world, quietly observing, building trust. And then she made discoveries that shocked the scientific community. She witnessed chimpanzees creating and using tools, stripping branches to fish termites out of mounds. Until that moment, tool-making was thought to be uniquely human. She saw them embracing, grieving, forming friendships, showing aggression, and demonstrating intelligence. In short, she revealed that the line separating human from animal was far thinner than anyone had imagined. But Jane did something else even more revolutionary. She gave the chimps names. She called them David Greybeard, Flo, Flint, and others. She described their personalities, their quirks, their relationships. This horrified many scientists at the time, who argued that animals should be treated as research subjects, not individuals. But Jane insisted on seeing them as beings, not objects. And slowly, the world began to see what she saw, that animals, too, have emotions, families, and dignity. Her work changed not only the field of primatology, but the very way humans see themselves in relation to nature. And she could have stopped there, satisfied with her groundbreaking research. But Jane was not content to stay in the forests of Tanzania. She knew the animals she loved were under threat, their habitats shrinking, their populations declining. So she stepped out of the research world and into the global stage. She founded the Jane Goodall Institute in 1977, dedicated to protecting chimpanzees and conserving their habitats. She launched Roots and Shoots in 1991, a youth-led program that encouraged young people across the globe to act for animals, people, and the environment. What started with a small group of students in Tanzania grew into a worldwide movement, inspiring hundreds of thousands of children and teenagers to take action in their own communities. Jane's schedule became relentless. Even in her later years, she traveled almost 300 days a year. She gave speeches, lectures, and interviews across the globe. Wherever she went, she urged people not to give in to despair. She believed in hope, even when the challenges seemed overwhelming. She had a way of making audiences believe that change was still possible, that one person's actions truly mattered. Her achievements were recognized again and again. She was made Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2003. She received the Templeton Prize in 2021, and in 2025, just months before her passing, President Joe Biden awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the United States' highest civilian honor. Yet despite the accolades, she always remained humble. Awards were never her goal. Her goal was simple: to save the animals, the forests, and ultimately humanity itself. And now she is gone. The grief that swept across the world was immediate and immense. From scientists to activists, from world leaders to schoolchildren, tributes poured in. But Leonardo DiCaprio's words stood out because they captured both the personal and the universal. He didn't just mourn the loss of a public figure. He mourned the loss of a friend. He revealed that his final message to her was a declaration of love and respect. "You are my hero." And then he urged the rest of us not to let her mission fade. "Now we all must carry the torch," he said. Think about that. Carry the torch. What does it mean? It means that her mission cannot end with her death. It means that every one of us now has a responsibility. Jane Goodall spent her entire life fighting apathy. She warned that the greatest danger to our future was not war or disease, but indifference. If people stop caring, stop acting, stop fighting for the planet, then everything she worked for will be lost. So carrying the torch means educating ourselves about the natural world. It means supporting the organization she built, the Jane Goodall Institute, and Roots and Shoots. It means taking action in our communities, however small, planting trees, reducing waste, protecting wildlife, speaking out when the environment is threatened. It means teaching the next generation to love nature, to value compassion, to never lose hope. Her death is heartbreaking, but it must not be the end. Instead, it must be the beginning of a new chapter where millions of people step forward to continue what she started. That is what DiCaprio was urging us to do. That is what Jane herself would want. She would not want endless mourning or empty words. She would want action. She would want us to prove that her life was not in vain. So as we remember her, let us remember not just her discoveries, not just her awards, not just her speeches. Let us remember her spirit, the little girl who dreamed of Africa, the young woman who dared to enter the forest, the scientist who gave names to chimpanzees, the activist who traveled the world into her 90s. Let us remember her wisdom, her humility, and her unshakable hope. Jane Goodall has left us, but her legacy has not. It lives in the forests she helped protect, in the organization she built, in the millions of people she inspired. It lives in Leonardo DiCaprio's words, words of grief, but also of resolve. "You are my hero," he told her. And to us, he said, "Now we all must carry the torch." The torch is heavy, but it is ours to bear. The forests are waiting. The chimps are waiting. The planet is waiting. The world cannot afford for Jane Goodall's mission to die with her. If we truly loved her, if we truly admired her, then we must honor her not with silence, but with action. Because in the end, that is what heroes do. They light the way. And when they are gone, it is up to us to keep walking forward, carrying the flame they left behind. Jane Goodall may be gone, but her light still burns. And now, it is our turn to keep it alive.